Hello, this is Thogdad here, and today I'm going to look at the best Premier League player of every age. So starting with a green 17-year-old, going all the way through to a mature old 35-year-old. And I'm missing the Premier League, I'm sure you are, but the German football is brilliant. But I'm hoping the Premier League action will be back on our screens in about 2 weeks. So let's start off with a 17-year-old player called Harvey Elliott at Liverpool. Now, Harvey played in the EFL Cup for Fulham aged 15 and made his Premier League debut for Fulham aged 16 years and 30 days. Now, that was a Premier League record. He moved to the Liverpool under-23s where he plays as a right winger. And in 12 games this season, he's got 2 goals and 4 assists. Now, we've criticised Harvey for his off-the-field behaviour and for his ridiculous haircut. But in reality, when we've seen him play in the Cup, he's been a really composed player. In fact, he's more mature than his years suggest. And I'd like to see this lad go on and make it at the highest level. I just hope he gets good off-field mentors who can guide him and ensure that he reaches his full potential. For an 18-year-old, I've gone with Mason Greenwood at Manchester United. Now, Mason is a centre-forward who's scored 5 goals in 22 games this season, but he's been more prolific in the Europa League with 5 goals in 2 assists, and he even scored in the Europa League before his 18th birthday. This season, he's bagged goals in 6 different leagues or competitions. Now, what I like about Mason is he's got the confidence of youth. And he's got this amazing ability to play with left foot and right foot. Mason is a versatile player who actually started off as a midfielder, and he can play anywhere in the attacking lineup. Moving on to 19-year-olds, and I had to go with the brilliant young Phil Foden at Manchester City. Phil is a young lad from Stockport. He's a central midfielder, and he's only been given 354 minutes in the Premier League this season. He's actually been given reasonable game time in the Champions League, 186 minutes, and he's bagged 2 goals and 2 assists. He's valued at 24 million, but I think it would take a lot more money than this to drag him away from the Etihad. Now, Phil Foden is naturally a left-footed player, and he can play in midfield or in a more forward position. He's got good ball control and he can beat opponents. He's inventive. He's intelligent. Theo and I went to see him play in the Champions League, and he put in a man-of-the-match performance despite his young years. For a 20-year-old, I've actually gone down to Carrow Road and Norwich and chosen Max Aarons. Now, I think a lot of bigger teams will be looking at this lad, particularly if Norwich go down. I mean, this has been a character-building season for the lad, and it can't be too long before he gets an England call-up. For a 21-year-old, I simply had to go for Trent Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool. Now, this lad is a homegrown talent. He's as Liverpudlian as the Liverbirds or John Lennon. He's had 29 appearances at right-back this season. He's picked up 2 goals and, incredibly, 12 assists. And at the age of 21, he's already had 9 caps for England. He's valued at around 90 million quid and has a contract at Anfield until 2024. Now, what can you say about this lad? He's an attacking left-back who loves to beat players and whip in early crosses. He's a set-piece specialist who actually was a midfielder at the youth academy, and this is where he developed his incredible range of passing. He's lightning fast, he's exciting to watch, he's simply one of the best players in the Premiership. And what I like about this lad is that off the pitch he does a lot of charity work in the Liverpool community, and he actually loves playing chess, and once he played against the world champion chess master and lasted 17 moves. For my 22-year-old, I've gone across to Manchester and chosen another homegrown talent in Marcus Rashford. Now, this is a centre-forward from Wythenshawe. 22 games this season, he's got 14 goals and 4 assists. At the age of 22, he's already played 38 caps for England and he's got 10 goals. He's valued at around 60 million quid and he's contracted at Old Trafford until 2023. Now, this is a lad with absolutely blistering pace. He can be deployed as a centre forward or out on the left or on the right wings. He's someone who provides assists, scores goals, can cut in and whip them into the corner. For my 23-year-old, I've chosen James Madison at Leicester City. Now, James is an attacking midfielder who used to be at Coventry and Norwich. He came from Norwich for 22 million quid and he's now valued at probably twice that. In 28 games this season, he's got 6 goals and 3 assists. Now, I think we all know that this lad has got great vision, great passing ability, and is a real danger going forward. But what he's developed this year is a more defensive, more rounded approach to his game. And it can't be long before this guy is an England regular. For my 24-year-old, I've had to go with the forgotten player, Leroy Sane, the young German at Manchester City. Now, Leroy has already won 2 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup and 2 League Cups. In 89 league games, he's got 25 goals. Now, this is a lad who came from Schalke in Germany for £45 million and is currently valued at probably 72 million. A Thogdad fact for you, his mum is Regina Weber and she won an Olympic bronze medal for gymnastics at the 1984 Olympic Games. Now, this lad is simply wonderful to watch. He's a match winner who scores goals, who creates assists, who can take players on, who is lightning fast, who is great at whipping the ball in. A really exciting player, and I can't wait for him to come back. For my 25-year-old, I'm actually going with Bruno Fernandes at Man United, who is probably the best signing of this season. Now, he's only played 5 games in attacking midfield for United, and he's already got 2 goals and 3 assists in a difficult league. Bruno was a £50 million buy from Sporting Club de Portugal, where he played 89 league games and got 39 goals. Now, Theo and I were lucky enough to go down to Sporting and to see Bruno in the flesh at his old club, and straight away we realised this is a special player. He's someone who likes to run and dominate the game. He can score goals, he can create assists. He's got great passing. His footballing vision and intelligence is superb. And we've only seen 5 games of the fella. Now, there's only one man that I could have chosen as my 26-year-old, and that is the brilliant Spurs and England legend, Harry Kane. Now, Harry won the Golden Boot at the 2018 World Cup and guided England to an amazing 4th place in the tournament. He's scored 136 Premier League goals, and he's already had 45 England caps and scored 32 goals. This season started well for him with 11 Premier League goals and 6 Champions League goals, but sadly he got injured. He's valued at £108 million, and he's one of those players that could play in any team in the world. Now, for me, Harry Kane is an incredible goal scorer along the lines of an Alan Shearer or a Gary Lineker. He's great with the volley, he's great at the long shots, and he scores the simple goals. He also does a huge amount of work for his team and never gives up. For my 27-year-old, who else but Mo Salah of Liverpool? Now, this right winger has played 26 games for Liverpool this season. He's bagged 16 goals and got 6 assists, and some people say he's having a bad season. Last season, he was the joint Golden Boot winner. He cost 38 million quid from Roma, and he's probably now worth 3 times that. Now, what hasn't this guy got? He's got speed, he's got incredible footballing vision, he's got passing ability, he can take players on, he creates assists, he scores goals. And he's one of these languid players. You think he's taken too much time, but somehow that ball seems to stick to that incredible left foot and then ends up getting curled into the top left corner. People often ask me, who is your favourite player in the Premier League? I don't have to pause before saying Kevin De Bruyne from Man City, aged 28. Now, Kevin De Bruyne came to Man City in 2015 from Wolfsburg. He's already won 2 Premier League titles and emerged as one of the greatest talents of world football. This season he's played 26 games, he's got 8 goals and 17 assists. Nobody has got more assists than KDB. He came from Wolfsburg for 68 million and he's now valued at 108 million. Now, Kevin De Bruyne is often described as an advanced playmaker. He's athletic and hard-working. He's got a ridiculous quality and range of passing. He's got a blistering shot and volley, and he's always looking to get forward. I would travel halfway around the world to watch this player in action. A genius. My 29-year-old is a very different type of player to Kevin De Bruyne. It is the inimitable N'Golo Kante of Chelsea. Now, this is a man who won consecutive Premier League titles, first for Leicester and then for Chelsea. He's a French international who plays defensive midfield, and he won the World Cup in 2018. N'Golo is a box-to-box midfielder with an incredible work rate. He tackles more than anyone else, and he's got this amazing ability to win the balls. His positional ability is superb, and this is a player who fits into the category could play for any team in the world. For my 30-year-old, I've gone for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of Arsenal, who was a £56 million signing from Borussia Dortmund and who jointly won the Golden Boot last season. He's played 26 games this season, scored 17 goals and got 1 assist. Put simply, Aubameyang is one of the best strikers in the world. He's got pace, he's got finishing ability, and his movement is superb. An interesting Thogdad fact about Aubameyang is that he played for the France under-21s. He was invited to play for Italy. He's able to play for Spain, but he chose to play for Gabon for family reasons. For my 31-year-old, who else can I choose but Sergio Aguero of Manchester City? Sergio came from Atletico Madrid in 2011 and has scored against every Premier League opponent with one exception, Bolton Wanderers. He's won 4 Premier League titles and scored 180 Premier League goals. He's actually 4th in the all-time rankings behind Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney and Andy Cole. He's an Argentinian who's got 97 caps for his country and scored 41 goals. Aguero is a centre-forward who can actually play as a second striker. He's wonderful in front of goal. He has the ability to play with both feet. He scores from range and he scores tap-ins. He's clever, he's strong. In fact, he's one of the best players that we've ever seen in the Premier League. For my 32-year-old, I've got to give a massive shout-out to Pedro of Chelsea. Pedro is Spanish and can play attacking midfield, right wing, left wing. He's a very versatile player. He's won 5 La Liga titles, 3 Champions Leagues, 1 World Cup, 1 European Championship and 1 Premier League. And look what I've won. Best goalkeeper and best defender for my local 5-a-side team. Thank you, Pedro. He came from Barcelona in 2015 for 24 million quid, and when he was at the Nou Camp he scored 99 goals for the Spaniards. Pedro is someone who'll get you an important goal now and again. He'll score a goal every 4 games, but he's a lot more than that. As a defender, I know that this man is a menace to mark. He's someone that can peel off from a defender, get away and create something. And for my 33-year-old, it just has to be Jamie Vardy of Leicester. Now, the Jamie Vardy story is a fascinating one. He used to play in the Northern Premier League for Halifax Town and Fleetwood. And when he was at Fleetwood, he scored 31 goals in a season. He then moved to Leicester for £1 million, which was a record for a non-league player. So he only actually played in the EFL aged 25. In 2015 to 2016, he scored in 11 consecutive games as Leicester incredibly won the Premier League title. This season, aged 33, he's played 26 games, scored 19 goals and got 4 assists. Nobody has got more goals in the Premier League this season. This is a man who is incredibly hard-working and really fast for a 33-year-old. He can beat the last man and score from distance. He can also score tap-ins, and like I've said, this is a guy who works from the first minute to the last. Now, this is a man who's had his off-the-field problems. Famously, once for 6 months, he wore an electronic tag for assault. Everyone knows that Jamie Vardy is having a party. Bring your vodka and your Smarties. And if you chat shit about him, you get banged. 34-year-old, every Man City fan will agree with this, the incredible David Silva. Now, Silva came from Valencia in 2010 and has been playing for City in attacking midfield for a decade. He won 1 World Cup with Spain in 2010. The man has won 4 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 5 League Cups. Now, David Silva, if you look at his stats, they're incredible for passes and for chances created. He's actually nicknamed Merlin for his possession retention and passing. He's left-footed, he's got a great first touch, he's got great dribbling ability, he's got great composure and vision. And finally, for an old 35-year-old, I've had to go with the wonderful Leighton Baines at Everton. Now, Leighton was a £7 million buy from Wigan in 2002, and over the last 18 years he's played 342 times in the league for Everton at left back. He's also played 30 games for England. This is a dependable left-sided defender with an amazing cross, and back in the day, if you played fantasy football, you had Leighton Baines in your team for his clean sheets and for his assists. So those are my favourite players in the Premier League from age 17 to age 35. Do you agree with them? Let's see in the comments down below. And if you like this video and you want some more, do the usual, like and subscribe, and I'll be back soon with some more football and other content. This is Thogdad. See ya.